All right, hey, what's up, everyone? Back to it. Yeah, it's been, I guess it's been less than a week since I've streamed, but we're going to be back into our rhyming project. And really just, I think, readjusting how we're doing this project. I know, like, I really wanted a table, but I think it's going to have to be just chips. And it's not terrible. I've seen, like, it's fine, really. I'm not too worried about it, but it's just not exactly what I wanted to do. So we're going to work through what those chips could look like, and then we'll also do things like handling when a word isn't found, and including things like the definition and like a thesaurus as well. So any like synonyms, and we'll use APIs to do that. And so the good thing about all that is that we can just fetch that using an API and process the data that way. So we will jump in with that, and hopefully my brain works like I want it to, and we'll jump in. So we're here in our layout, but we need to be in our words, that's the config. We need to be over here in our slug page. Yes, all right. So what we're going to do is essentially this. So all of this, and we can wrap, is these chips here. So let's get rid of the table. Whoops. And we can also get rid of the pages. And I spent so much time getting those pages right. Oh well. So here we're going to not limit how many words we get and just return them all. And there we go. And then we also don't need to add in we don't need this here, which is where the syllable number came from, and we're not going to justify center. We'll just justify start, and this should flex wrap, so we should be in good shape here. So now we're going to sort these by pronunciation and then by syllable. So ideally what we want is, we've got rhymes for, or words that share vowel sounds with, and I don't really need this, I don't think. I do need that. So that just adds a space. We'll take it. All right, so words that share vowel sounds with compromise. And then we can do, we won't need this, because what we're going to do is we'll start here with a div, which is going to be our rhymes.docs.map, and we're going to take out our pronunciations, which I really need to remember how this works. So this should be pronunciations. Okay. I believe it's more like this, which I can then get rid of all that. And we should be good here now. So we'll need more, I think. But for now, we can just do div key index. And I wonder, do I actually have pronunciation? Nope. And actually, it's not even rhymes. We need target word. So target word dot pronunciations dot map. Then we actually need syllables. Perfect. So now we can do something like a div maybe. Okay, that works. And in this div, we'll have an h2. These words rhyme with, and this needs a key first. Let's see, syllable.id. Nope. Okay. Then we'll do index. That's why we have it. These words rhyme with, or share a vowel sound with syllable index +1, since it's a 0 index. These words share a vowel sound with syllable of target word. Nope, not word. There we go. So oh, so these are actually the pronunciations. So we need to take this up a level. So we can just do an h2 again, but this time we will, let's comment. Oh no, it's shared parent, so we were fine there. What we'll do in this h2 is target word dot pronunciations dot length is greater than 1, and then we'll return pronunciation index +1. And so what this will do is it's going to create a new header if the pronunciation array is more than 1. If it's greater than 0, it'll add pronunciation 1 in there, but now that'll help with things like comfortable and comfortable. We'll be able to account for both of them. Pronunciation, oh, gotta spell it right. All right. So then we can make this into an h3, because down here we're going to do syllables.map syllable, and then we need our index here too, which we don't want to do that. We can just call it j +1. Then I can see that we have compromise, which has 3 syllables, and we're going to reverse this. So let's reverse. Oh shoot. We need to do let's get the array, and then do array.length minus j. There we go. So now we have these words share a vowel sound with syllable 3, 2, and 1. All right, so now what we're going to do is loop through here our rhymes, which actually, so this is taking our vowel array up here. So really what needs to happen is we need to create a new component for our rhymes. So we'll take word cell here and repurpose it. We're going to export our const called word cell again, it's fine. And we're going to take a syllable number, which is going to be a number. And then in here, we're going to get our payload object. So we can get payload, and we need to add our config, which doesn't get imported. So we're going to import config from payload config. And then we need to await this. And beyond that, we need to put this as async. And I see what's happening here. We need to open an arrow function instead of that parentheses there. So we've got our payload, and then we can come down here into our word. Oh no, this is right. Okay. And then we're going to get our rhymes here. So we don't need page. This is only going to limit to 1. And then our pronunciation last vowel just needs to be equal. So it's not even syllable number, it's just syllable. Not even syllable, it just needs to be vowel sound, which can be a string. So here we'll do equals vowel sound, and it's not equal to our target word, so we'll include that as well. Target word, and this will be string. So once we do that, we can return, and this will be our chip. But for now, we'll just return a paragraph tag that has our rhymes.docs 0. So let's change this from rhymes to just rhyme, and we'll do then response.docs 0, because we're only taking the 1 from it. All right, now we see we need to use rhyme.word. We should be good there. So now we can come to our syllables here, and under the H3, which we then need to use a fragment here, we can add a new div to hold all this. So we'll do a div, breaks everything, and then I actually need this to be a real fragment, so I can add a key of syllable.id, which should be available. Looks like I need to import fragment from React. Okay, and then from there, we can loop through our syllable array. So we're going to use our syllable here. Oh wait, no. Yes, syllable, which is a vowel sound. Rate. We actually syllable. Let me print our syllable here so I can see what I'm doing. Syllable dot vowel sounds. Yeah, I didn't think that was a map. Vowel sounds dot, maybe it is. So, oh, it is. Okay, so set vowel sounds dot map, and then we can do our vowel, and then K for the loop, and see what we get here. So we need to check also that syllable dot vowel sounds does not equal a string, and then that it exists. Interesting. Property map does not exist on type object. So I think I just need to do, oh, LOL. All right, so I need to do this as a type check. So we can do type of does not equal string. Property map does not exist on type vowel. So vowel sounds, yeah, should just be a little convoluted here, but we got there. There we go. All right, so now instead of this, we actually then need to use our word cell, and we're going to pass in our target word and our vowel sound. Our vowel sound is what we just did, which is syllable.vowelsounds, and we'll do our value. And then we'll do, and let's make our type check a little bit more secure here with that having to exist. And then for our target word, we can just pass in target word, word. So now we can see that all of these share a vowel sound with syllable 3. And share a vowel sound with syllable 2, compro. None of this is right, though, because I think it is compro arrangement. Compra. Oh, yeah. Arrangement. Compra arrangement. So that makes sense. All right, and then find. But as we can see, there are several words here. So that means that we're only retrieving one word from our word cell, when we need to actually return all of them. So that tells me then we need to actually move this into, we need to take the, we need to return all of the words. So here I can return limit of 0. Of course, that means that we're only still going to take 0, but now I should be able to take rhyme.map and change this then to a div, get rid of the word here, and then in our div we can map out, we want the index, so we need to wrap that there, and then we can return, I think we need the word. What did I do wrong this time? Then I think I need one more here. No, I guess not. All right. So we need word, yes, and then we need the slug. And then is there anything else in our word type? So let's import type word from our payload types. This way I can just look at it. We need the word, we need the slug, and I think that's it for now. So I don't think we need the index either, because I can just use our word ID, which I need to pull out. So we can do ID, and then we can do our key equals ID. Yeah, I need one more. Yeah, that was weird. Okay. And then here we just need the word, and actually this needs to be a link, which will have an href of words slug. So I can save that, and we see that we now have all 4 words, 2 words, 3 words. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 9 words there that are returned for each of the syllables. So we can do a little bit of styling now. So let's take what we have here in this div and replace it for our word cell div here. So we got our flex there, and then here in the link, we'll take all those styles as well. And I think we're going to make these a bit smaller. Okay, so I can just replace our first part of the link here. Perfect. Now I save this, and we got these words all chipped out like this. Perfect. So now we can get rid of all of this here. And we can get rid of last vowel. We don't use rhymes anymore. So now we're just cleaning up a little bit. I don't even think we use the vowel array. Let's see if anything breaks when I do that. Nothing there. Great, nothing's broken. So now we got some spacing things we can fix up. So let's take care of that real quick, where we'll do just margin of 2, or I guess margin Y of 2. That looks a little bit better. Actually, I don't think it does. We'll do margin Y of 4. Yeah, that feels a little bit better. And then we can do, instead of regular text, we'll do text small. And then we'll cut the padding X in half. I don't want to do text small then. That should be fine. Padding Y of 0 to give it still the chip, but then we need to add a little bit more of a gap between to let it space out a little bit. So those look pretty good, pretty good. So all that should be good to go. We're now back in chips. And now we can see arrangement. We go there. I get a 404. Where's arrangement? And I'm not quite sure why, if that's showing up. Oh, word. It needs to be word, not words. So let's try that again. Let this update. We can now see that these words share a vowel sound with syllable 3, adjustment, and then here we've got arrange and adjust, obviously also match. So what we can do now, I'm sorry if I'm a little quiet here, let's get the mic up a little bit closer to my face. What we'll do is, if there are no words for that syllable, we can remove this fragment here. So we should be able to just do this and say, how are we going to do this actually? So how this loops through is, we come here, we have our syllables, it's looping through syllable 3 first. It's going to drop in that syllable, that vowel sound, and it's going to return all of the words for that vowel sound. Now it reaches the bottom, it comes back up, and I don't know at the time here if there is a word in the syllable, so I think we just have to leave it as it is. But I can do oh wait, I think I can do this. So we'll do, my brain is working, syllable dot vowel sounds. Okay. So definitely not that. Can I do syllable? All right, so I didn't have to do all that. Vowel sounds. Then that should mean I don't need this check here. And that should go away. Oh, it's because it does have, so let's do target word dot pronunciations index dot syllables j. And then I do need to add this check back in of syllable vowel sounds. Make sure it exists. And so here, instead of j, it needs to be array length minus j. So that got rid of 3. Index. Syllables, array length, maybe plus j? Nope. But it's definitely not j. So target word pronunciation, the syllable exists. It's that advanced logic. Let's think through this here. So what this is doing is it's taking the syllables out of pronunciation index from target word. That obviously is going to exist, so that's not what we're looking for. What we then need to do is check if the syllable here so right now it just gets skipped, which is not the end of the world. But I think here in word cell then we can do rhyme dot, again, I don't need that. I can do rhyme dot length is greater than 0. We can then return that, but we should have maybe like a return. I guess we don't need a return, do we? This isn't a page. So there we go. So, but what we do actually want to do is say something like no words found. That works for now. But of course we should style this in the same way of at least the padding and the size of our chips. We can do class name, we can do text, medium, and then the rest of these here. px2, we don't need that. And then we can just do margin y of 2. Yeah. Perfect. So that should work for now. Then I don't care if there's repeated words. I think that's fine. And if I go to adjustment, I can then see a bunch of stuff. Perfect. So we're back in chip mode. Let's finish styling up just a little bit. We're going to go back to a multi-syllable word. And in our pronunciation container, which is, or I guess in our syllable container, that's what I'm looking for, we'll take these, which can't take a class name because it's a fragment, and we'll just apply a div and then do a class name of, we can say yes padding 4, then we can do border, and then border, I believe I'm using violet, 400 should be fine. Then we can do rounded, medium, then let's do margin bottom of 2. looks good. And then at the top here in this div, we can add a little bit of a margin top to separate it from the top there. And I think that our bottom two is probably a little bit too small. So now I have all these different segments where we can very clearly see what words are available. So then we can do something like in our, let's go to our layout real quick because I want to add a little bit of intrigue here. Let's do a class name, and we can do dark, and we'll do BG purple 950 at like 60% opacity. Oh, that's border. We need BG purple. Okay, and then for our light mode, we'll just do BG violet 50 divided by 20. BG, we'll do violet as well. So for some reason, this is not in dark mode. Nothing is in dark mode right now. Is the sun not set? The sun is set. Well, we'll let it flip when it's ready. But everything else is in dark mode. That's weird. But none of this is. All right, so then we can come to our things here, and then we can do just a BG of violet 400, and then we'll do dark of BG violet probably like 900. And then we'll do text, which can be text violet 950, and then dark, we'll do text violet 200 maybe. So I don't like that already. Let's do 200. A little bit better. 100. All right, that works. Cool. And then just to add a little bit more depth, we for each of these can do something like not blur, shadow. Small maybe. Yeah, just adds a little bit more to it. And then also we'll need something for our pronunciation, because if we go to comfortable, we have two pronunciations here. So what we'll do is for our pronunciation here, we'll do a class name. We should do something like text 2XL. I don't know what that class name is there for, but maybe 3XL then. Oh. Not what I'm looking to change. Words that share pronunciation. Oh, my brain is broken. Oh, there it is. Okay. Perfect. So here we'll do class name, and we'll do text 3XL. Maybe just 2XL. Yep. Margin bottom of 4, it looks like. Nope. Maybe 2. Yep. And then we'll do just a little bit of a padding of 2. That needs to be done to the container, actually. So we'll do class name padding of 2. I still want the margin bottom to be 4. And then we can do border, purple 950 border. and then rounded medium. Then lastly, we can do margin bottom of 3, 2, 4. So I think that should be good. And so what we can do is also add in, we can actually do it right now, even though I won't add the functionality for it. We'll do, this can be a div again, and this is going to be class name. Don't know why I did that when I knew I was not going to. Okay, anyway, flex, and then I don't need flex wrap, but I'm going to add it. And then we can add a lucid icon, which will import from lucid react, and we're going to get some kind of down. Does lucid react, did I not install it? Oh, it needs to be a string. That makes more sense. And then we can do down. I don't want to do arrow down. Is there like a caret? I don't want an actual caret, which I think is what this is going to be. Yep, sure is. All right, but that does mean we can also do items, center, justify, between, margin bottom. So that really should mean that the margin bottom will be here and not here. And I wonder if I can put text to XL here as well, so our caret gets changed. It's at least aligned. Let's do a little bit of a margin top to maybe like 2. All right, so let's find an actual, what is it? We can do a down. Not quite. Drop. All right, let's pull up Lucid. And we're kind of going for a square shape thing, so we'll do that. Let's copy the JSX, which I think is going to be the same thing. Let's import. What is this called? Square chevron down. So now if we look at that, that looks a little bit better. And then we can do text violet 950, and then we can do dark text violet 200. All right. Then very, very last thing, let's add a little bit of shadow here. What did I just add shadow to? The word. I need it to the pronunciation container, which is right here instead. Perfect. So we'll add some more functionality around that later, but I believe this is going to be pretty good. I do want to change the padding of this to be px2, but maybe I can do px4 now. Yeah. So that looks well-rounded and pretty good, and it has some depth as well. So we're in good shape here, unless there is no pronunciation, which means then all that I did here needs to be done in here instead. So what we'll do, you can keep your key. We'll change you back to a fragment, which I deleted. Option enter to get fragment from React, which then I can't use a class name, but fortunately I can just wrap all of this in a div. With that class name, div. There we go. So now if I go back to comfortable, we have our pronunciations back. Great. So now what happens if there is no word? So I don't think I have the word word in here. And this is what we get. So what we can do, we don't need page anymore. We can only return this if word. Target word. And really, it just needs to be if target word. Okay, so if target word, there's that, then nothing will show up here. Then we can do else return word not found, and just start with that for a minute. All right, so what we can do is take our main all the way through our H1. And then close all of this off. So what we can do for here is instead of that, we can do let's add the slug here. So no matches were found for if you think we should have this word, contact us. Perfect. So now we can go for really anything, and we'll have no matches were found for anything. And so that's the easy part. Now, what we want to do for these pages where there is no word found is we still want to return something. And so that's where we'll take our free dictionary API. API. I know I have this saved somewhere. Datamuse will need API free dictionary API. There we go. So here now, like I could do word and we would get definitions. So that's what we want. So this is super easy to do because we can just take this and then add it to a fetch. So we'll do as long as the slug is a word, it should return something. So what we can do, make sure, yep, we have an async function. We're going to get our definitions because it's going to come as an array. So we see that here. If I can spell right, definitions, and we're going to set that equal to await fetch, and we're going to use this to then get our word. So we can log definitions so we can see what this looks like when we refresh. we get it pretty quickly, but we need to process the response. So we can do the res JSON. So here we go, we have anything. So now let's form our component before we abstract it out of here. Because we're gonna need to add it into both of our, maybe not. So what I can do is, let's get the main out of this. So I can do main up here. Oh shoot. Oops. So we add the main back in. And then I just want, so like I want the definition to be available on both. So what I'll end up doing most likely is just changing how I do this. So we can, in the main, do something like target word. And then or and then in that case I won't need any of this stuff, and I just need to close that. Then now I can get rid of this. Oh wait, then main. All right, so that's progress. Do I just not, do I need another? Yes, okay. So now nothing is, oh, because if target word. So that means I don't need this last one, just like I thought. So no matches were found for anything. Oh no. So let's fix that, where we can use our definitions here. So we can then, at the end of our main, we'll add a new div, which will be with an h2 of definitions for slug, and we can actually do target word dot word or slug. And then here, let's actually do our span and match what we normally do for our class name here. That way we are consistent. There we go. So I think then, so this can also come up. Then we'll close, get rid of these two divs. Get rid of these two divs. And then add a div here and one more div here. Oh, I'm gonna be breaking a lot of stuff real quick. So this needs to be wrapped in a fragment, and then this needs to be the closing fragment here. For sure, just broke everything. All right, perfect. That's there, and let's wrap you then also in a fragment. All right, and then this needs to be a div. And we should be good shape again, except for down here where we're a mess. So that's right. Then we've got our main, and then I think I don't need this div. Ooh, all right, so we've got our main here. Oh, it's the divs need to be here. Div, div. There we go. So now things start to match up a little bit better, but then we can do something like class name, margin top of 8 to give it plenty of separation. So now we have our definitions for anything, and then underneath the H2, we'll do div where we'll have our definitions be mapped out, so we map, and we can do, I think, our meanings. So what we'll end up doing, I think, is just definitions 0. And then we can do meanings. I wonder why we have two different. Oh, okay, I understand. So for our definitions, we will map, and we will, in our map, have our meanings. And an index. And here, we will do a fragment, just like it says. Meanings should be string and then index will be a number. Cool. So then in here we can get our we'll do just meanings dot map, and actually we're not going to do that. We're just going to do meanings dot map, or sorry, meanings 0, which is not a string. So we'll do definitions and then definition. So we're going to just take one definition from each. So meanings will then have a definition, which will be an array of strings. Okay, whatever. We'll come back to types anyway. Someone or something of importance, and then we then need to do, so this actually needs to be a div. And we can do h3 definition index plus 1. There we go. And then we can add just a few more styles here, where we'll do class name, sure. All right, and then we can do rounded medium. Perfect. And then let's do this as margin Y, actually. Do 2, maybe? Yeah, 4 is fine. Perfect. So now we have two definitions that comes from this, even though we don't actually have this word in our system. But if we go to comfortable, we can also see, figure out why pronunciation is like that. Oops. So definition 1 should be here. And then maybe we can do I just don't want to put a bunch of definitions in here, you know? But then also, why did pronunciation up here? Square chevron down. Okay, pronunciation. We have a border here. So where's this div going to? That div goes there. So here, this fragment covers all of the pronunciation. Yes, okay, so let's add the div back here, and then we can do a class name of border violet 950, and I think I just did px of 2. Oop, sorry, border. Oh wait, I can just take this here, because this is the actual, like, this is the class name I wanted for that, not for what I'm looking at now. There we go, and then we can do pronunciation. We can do margin top of 2. Okay, padding top of 2 maybe. There we go. All right, back to being more rounded. So then we have our definitions of comfortable, accommodation. We've got that as well. And then dog. So we now have definitions. Next up, we can add a little bit more to it. This pronunciations thing is driving me crazy. So, because I don't need any of these styles if pronunciations is 0. So what I can do instead then is pronunciation. Let's get the array, and then we can do array dot length is less than 2. Yeah, less than 2. And then if that's true, we can do that. If not, oh shoot, it needs to be greater than 1. There we go. So now I can go back to compromise, that's fine, and then I can do comfortable, and then I get the 2 pronunciations with different styling. Great. We got bool, which has a bunch of stuff. Cool. So last thing we'll do at the bottom here is there are, instead of using datamuse, which I may not actually need to use, whoops, sorry about that. I think I can just get our syllables, not our syllables, our synonyms out of this too. So what we'll do is we'll just copy all of this here and just add it to the bottom here. And yes, we will make these into components, but for now, I think this is fine. Synonyms. And what we'll do is, first of all, just get our synonyms. So I think we have our meanings, and then I think I can get synonyms from here. Synonyms. Map. We got our synonym. It's so hard to spell that. And then I can do, let's just right now do a link. And then I think I can do word synonym to lowercase key index, and then just do synonym. Okay. synonyms. And then let's take a look at our API here, where we have definitions. Then yes, we do have synonyms. Did link not import properly? So I don't need that right now. So I guess there's no synonyms for comfortable, but if we do bowl, synonyms, meanings 0. I think that means here, let's do this type right. There we go. All right, so that type is good. Ooh, we're getting there. We're getting somewhere at least. All right, so we have our, let's just clear our console. And what I want to do is we're logging our definitions. We need to log our definitions, 0 meanings. All right, then we have here synonyms, which is an array of strings. And so that means I should be able to take it from meanings.synonyms. And then I guess, hold on. So then we can do 0.synonyms. And then we have our array. So what was that? Meanings, definitions, meanings, synonyms. So we've got our definitions, our meanings. So I see them there. I don't need, okay, so it's just going through all the definitions. So here I just need to do definitions meanings dot synonyms. Zero, 0. Then here, let's just get this down to we don't need meanings. So let's get rid of all of this type stuff. We'll keep index and we're just going to do synonym, which is going to be a string. And then here we should So I don't really want it to be in different divs like that. So it means we can get rid of this and do that. Oops. Then we can do a key here where we'll include index. Oh, I already have key. Does that mean I have key in the wrong place here? No, because I didn't use a link. Okay. Whew. All right, so all of these should be links. And if I would like to, I could actually just do a class name, and I'm going to set this to be chips. And then we're going to go to our Well, first, let's go to our word cell, which has our style of the chips that we want. All of this here. Then we'll go to our styles, and we're going to do chips, apply, all of that there. So now I can just save that, and I probably applied stuff wrong. So let's go to Tailwind apply. Unknown utility class text, but it worked a second ago. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Oops, border. All right, perfect. And then we can go to our word cell. And instead of all of that, we could just change this to be chips. And there's that. And now last thing we need to do is just copy our div style here for our synonyms down here. There we go. So we save that. And now here things look a little bit better. Now I don't have any of these words, but I can click on them and I can see that we have like a definition and synonym even without anything on the page. So there are no synonyms there, so why don't we do something like definitions 0, meanings index 0 dot synonyms dot length is greater than 0. And that should get rid of our synonyms. Or not. Do I even need to have less than 0? Oh. I'm definitely kind of losing my mind here now. All right, so let's move all of that up here. So this div now we can do if definitions dot meanings synonyms dot length is greater than 0. There we go. Now it's gone. We can do the same thing for our definitions here, where we're just looking at the first set of no, we're looking at multiple definitions. So that means then we can do all of this in a check for definitions dot length is greater than 1, greater than 0. There we go. So now we have definitions there. So I can go back. Then we can do, if we go back to our, oh, we're still there. We look at our syllable, and then we can see shares a syllable with syllable array length minus j, but we could also do array, our array length plus 1 or sorry. What am I doing? All right, there. So array length, we're actually looking for so what is my index here? I think it's j. So j plus 1 is greater than array length. We can do that, or just to make sure this works. Okay. So there's a couple things I want to do here. So first, I want to say these words share a vowel with target word if syllable equals 1. These words share the last vowel sound with, share a vowel sound with the last syllable of word, and then the one that we have here. So let's consider this. These words share a vowel. Then we need to check if array dot length is greater than 1. Or so if it's less than 2, this can just be with target word. Then otherwise, for now, let's just do a blank string and let us all right, these words share a vowel with bool, so that works. And let's put this to lowercase. So then if that's not true, we want to check then if j plus 1 is greater than array dot length, and if it is, we can do sound with the last syllable. So here we can then do syllable then with, and then at the end of all of this we can do of, or sorry, this goes of, and then here target word to lowercase. All right, so we now have with. All right, so these words share a vowel with bool. Perfect. So if I come here, then we need to do one last thing, which is going to be so this should just be sound with syllable. Then we can do array dot length minus j, which then should cover every other case. So if I go to comfortable, these words share a vowel sound with syllable 3, 2, and 1. So 3 though. Interesting. Okay, so since I have this reversed, I need to think through how. So syllable 3 in this case and below syllable 4 should be the last syllable. So okay, so that's progress. That's the first syllable. Which, you know, let's add that case too. So with the first syllable, and then array length minus j. So I think then we need to do array length minus j is greater than j, which is always going to be true. But let's go with the logic here. Sound with the last syllable of. Yeah, I thought so. Except for some reason, syllable 2. So array minus So we definitely have the first syllable, and yes, my brain is totally busted right now. So we're gonna try and get through this and then call it quits for sure. Okay. So we're just looking to do these words share a vowel sound with the last syllable. So we're getting there. So now we have our reversed array, which is like this would work as the last syllable. I wonder. So j plus 1 is greater than array length. Okay, less than array length. Last syllables, all of them. Ah, so close. So we have the last syllable is getting into some advanced math right now. I think that might do it though. Perfect. So let's check out accommodation. Last syllable. Very close. Very close. Is this even possible to target then? I'm still getting a console log here. So we have here our reversed syllables. Syllable J, array. So let's think this through. So we have J plus 1 equals array length. So that tells me that this last syllable of, okay. Let's go back to dog real quick. These words share a vowel with dog, okay. So here we have, this is always going to equal the first one because J plus 1 array length. Okay. J plus 1, we have J is the first index, which in this case is reversed. So it's taking the last index plus 1 is always going to equal array length. So then down here, sound with syllable array length. So if we have a 4-syllable word, that's going to be the length minus 1, which is going to be the actual syllable number. So then the problem here is we're taking, so let's see what this equals. So we have J, so if we use the second index, which in this case is all right, so I don't know if array index matters here. Huh. Let's see if that actually works. All right, so there's a bunch of words in here that I actually can't process. Anyway, all right, so let's go back. Let's go back to comfortable, which has two pronunciations: last, first. And then we've got roller, no words found, anything that rolls. Great. Bull has a bunch of synonyms. Vowel with bull, cruel, bull. Do I have anything that is 2 syllables? I don't, at least not that I can think of. So let's just look at our admin real quick. Then we can look at our words, accord. There we go. So let's type in accord. Last syllable, first syllable. Perfect. So that's going to do it for all of our words. So if we go to our layout and we changed back to chips and we figured out how to handle words when one isn't found. So one thing that we'll want to do next time is we have find here and we don't want find. You know what? This actually might not be difficult. Where slug equals slug. Word. Oh, then I can do word not equals target word. And then I can do homonymous not in. So we need to actually take our target word. So we'll do target word dot homonyms. So target word needs to receive the word. Then here, target word. Okay, then in our word cell, target word is a word. Then we're taking our rhyme. I'm already breaking down the word though. Let's refresh just in case. Okay, so that means this is receiving an object now, and I need to handle the object here. Target word, word. Vowel sound is different. There we go. Still happening somewhere. Rhyme, await, payload, target word. Slug. Then we have our rhyme map. That should have everything we need. Target word, homonyms. Let's first see. Okay, so it is something with the homonyms. Let's go look at our API. We have our find API homonyms. All right, so let's log our target word dot homonyms. Let's see what happens if we do homonyms word, not in target word homonyms word, or maybe just not equals. Okay, So maybe this isn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, so we'll just call it quits here. We'll come back to this because what I want to do is just make sure that for find, I don't want to really return a homonymous value. So we will take care of that here in a little bit. So let's make sure we don't have any console logs. And then call it quits here. So a few things that are coming up. We do want to come back to the homonym values and exclude those. I do also want to make this to be like a mini, it's not even really SaaS, but something that has like an authentication process with customers and admin users. But we'll cover that. I'm still really working through how to do that. So been watching a lot of videos, reading a lot of documentation, and I'm almost there, I think. And I hope to have a tutorial out on that later as well. So I will have a new video drop tomorrow. It's just a cut of a previous live stream. So hopefully you enjoy that. If you enjoy these live streams, you'll likely enjoy that. And then next Tuesday is my next tutorial for Payload, Wednesday for Tailwind. And I will most likely stream again next Wednesday, either covering this or the client project I started the other day. So thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, like this content, and I'll see you on the next one.